Rumor is you call some secret number and leave a message about your project, and Bill Murray listens to it. If he likes it, he calls you back. And that's how you get Bill Murray in your movie. An enigma. So, if you've ever attended a film festival or an independent film premiere where there's a Q&A afterwards with the filmmakers, there are two questions that always seem to be asked. The first one being, what was your budget? The second one, if there were any cast members attached that are well-known, have any sort of notoriety, or are famous, the next question is always, how did you get so-and-so to be in your movie? Now, a lot of people are always expecting some crazy story. You know, he went to high school with your uncle's best friend. He, was once your neighbor and you saved his cat from a burning tree, or some sort of crazy story, because sometimes it's just hard for people to grasp the idea that well-known actors are willing to be in such small projects. But the good news is that there's actually a system in place that allows you, me, anybody to approach well-known famous actors with our projects and go through the steps that it might take to cast them in your project. So today we're going to talk about exactly that, what you can do and how you go about casting well-known actors to be in your film. But first, if you're new to the channel, if you're just joining us, feel free to hit the subscribe button below, press the bell for notifications. I got a lot of great videos planned for the next couple of months, things I want to talk to you about, independent filmmaking, how to get projects off the ground, what you can do to really take your stuff to the next level. So be sure and hit that subscribe button and follow along. So first off, why exactly would you want a famous actor to be in your movie? Well, the number one reason is for sales. When general audiences see a name attached to a project, a name on a poster, a face on a poster that they recognize, that they like, they are much more likely to invest their time and money in viewing this film. And with that in mind, it makes it much more easy for you to also then raise money for your project, to get it funded, to get it financed, and also to secure those distribution deals, because both your investors and your distributors are also going to know this to be true, that when a named talent is involved in a project, it's much more likely to sell. And so they can kind of rest assured knowing that their investment is secure and that their risk is somewhat mitigated. Now, another good reason why you'd want named talent involved is it sort of gives you, the filmmaker, a little bit of validity. And especially at the independent level, when you're working with little money, you'll find that having a name attached will open up a lot of doors for you as far as asking for favors from certain parties. Locations may open up their doors a little bit more readily because they know, hey, he's going to have David Hasselhoff in my building. This is exciting for me, and maybe I get to be on set at the same time. Other actors, other crew members, for them to have the opportunity to now work on a project that's got a name involved, they're going to be much more likely and willing to deal with you and maybe even bring down their rates a little bit to help you get this project done, knowing that this is going to look great on their resume and that this is going to be a project that's going to get out there and is going to get seen. Now, the final reason why you would want to get a well-known talent involved is because they know what they're doing. You've got someone that's going to show up every day who's well-versed in this, who's shot hundreds of hours in front of a camera. They're going to show up knowing their lines. They're going to hit their marks. They're going to know how to hold themselves, how to present themselves in front of a camera. So you'll be doing less takes. You'll be doing less rehearsals. You're going to be working with a pro who's going to know what they're doing from the second that they set foot on set. The other benefit this brings is when they're working with the other actors in a scene, everybody's performance gets enhanced. When one actor is working with another actor who is good, they're acting off of each other. You'll find that maybe the less experienced actor, once they're in a scenario with this person, with this individual, they've got a little bit more confidence and they're playing off of somebody who really knows what they're doing and is helping them bring out the best in their own performance. These are all reasons why you would want to get a named talent involved. So now one thing I really want you to keep in mind when you're selecting actors to be involved, or maybe you've got a casting director you're working with who's pitching people to you, you need to find somebody whose name or image carries enough on its own. If you have to recite someone's resume for anyone to know who you're talking about, that person isn't going to bring a lot to the project as far as the elements we talked about earlier, helping you out with your sales and your fundraising. If you're saying, I'm bringing the soup Nazi in from Seinfeld, yeah, that's a novelty, but no one's going to go see the movie just because the soup Nazi's involved. And when you see his name on the poster, and I think even if you just saw his face, you probably wouldn't have that sort of recognition. And so I would sort of save that. I would put that money and that opportunity into an unknown actor, just someone who's got a lot of talent, a lot of skill, that's going to really sing in that role, and not so much invest that in sort of a more obscure talent that if you recite enough of their resume, people will finally go, oh yeah, that guy, I remember that guy. Don't be sold just on someone's resume. Be sold on their name, just like your audience is going to be. So now we're getting to the $1 million question. How do you actually approach these actors to be in your film? What is the process you take to get your script in front of them and a deal, an offer in front of them for them to actually say yes or no to? Well, here's the thing. There's no real trick to it. There's a website many of you are familiar with called IMDb. There's a version of IMDb that is called IMDb Pro, and it requires a subscription. It's about $120 a year, but it is so worth it. It is so worth it to you as a filmmaker for several reasons. If you've been wondering, hey, I've got a film, how do I get it on IMDb? You do it with an IMDb Pro account. If you're wondering, how do I get my poster listed next to my project? How do I get my picture next to my name on IMDb? How do I add credits? How do I make any sort of modifications? That's all done by having an IMDb Pro account. But beyond that, and what we're talking about today, is that IMDb Pro will list for you on each actor's sites their representation. They will tell you which talent agency they're with, which agent they're represented by, that agent's phone number and email address. And so you can actually directly reach out to each talent's agency with your offer for their client. So let's take a quick look. Let's say we wanted to reach out to Rob Lowe to be in our project. So we type in Rob Lowe, pull up his pro account, and we see right away he's represented by William Morris Endeavor. He's got 5 representatives, his main one being Ben Davis. His manager is listed, which is fantastic. A lot of these actors don't always have their management team listed. Sometimes you'll have the actual direct email to the specific agent. If you don't, you may have to do a little bit of investigation, find out, which agencies, what email formats do they use? Is it, first letter of their first name dot last name at wme.com, and then build that in with the representation's name. But another option you have, which is much more effective, is to simply call the agency. I know that sounds crazy. The phone number is listed right there. And now that you actually have a name, that's always the thing. If you're trying to get past a reception desk, if you know a name, you're going to get connected. So you call up WME, you say, could you put me through to Ben Davis? They're going to put you through to the desk. Now you're going to catch his assistant. You're rarely going to talk to the agent themselves. And once the assistant answers the phone, you say, hi, my name is Will. I'm a producer. We'd like to put in an offer to Ben's client, Rob Lowe. We're wondering what is the best email address for us to send that offer through. And the assistant will give you the email address right there. And you say, okay, thanks. We're going to send this out. You can look for it in about an hour. It's as simple as that. We'll talk a little bit more about how you actually craft that offer, obviously, in a second, but I'm just pointing out this information is here for every single actor you can think of, whoever you want. Let's say we want David Hasselhoff in our movie. Let's check that one out. The Hoff is here. He's listed. He's with A3 Artists Agency. And so here's an example of his representative actually having the full email address listed. So you can send a direct email right to his agent. That's all there is to it. The big secret that people are always wondering, how do I get my stuff in front of this actor? How do I actually talk to these people? Now, they might not take it. They may pass on it, but at least you got their legitimate eyes on it. So before we dive too deep into how to craft the offer, let's talk a little bit about the chances that you stand. Because some people maybe think, okay, great, I got my stuff to Rob Lowe or to David Hasselhoff's agent. What's the guarantee they're actually going to want to be in my movie? Well, believe it or not, actors want to work. These people are hungry. They want to work. They either want to exercise their skills, they are bored, they want a good project to sink their teeth into. Maybe they really need a paycheck. They've got, some of these actors have tremendous overhead, and even just a $10,000 paycheck for a couple of days of work. Hey, there are so many reasons why that they will want to be in your project that I think it outweighs the reasons why they would not. Unless, your project is a total dog and you're paying them $50 and it just doesn't make any sense for them, then yeah, the likelihood of them saying yes is low. But the reasons for them to want to say yes, that's going to outweigh a lot of reasons for them to say no. Okay, let's talk about crafting our offers now. How to make sure that what you've sent when it arrives on the agent's desk doesn't go straight to the trash can. You really want to present yourself well in this scenario. You want to look professional. You want to look like you know what you're doing, because apart from the agent wanting money for both him and his client, he wants to be sure that his client is protected, that his reputation is protected, that you're not going to be making some trash movie, that he's not sending his client off to some terrible set situation where he's going to be sitting on an apple box in the hot sun with no water all day. So you want to make sure that you are presenting yourself as a professional, like you know what you're doing. The best way to convince people that you know what you're doing is by not talking. When you start talking too much, you risk revealing how much you actually don't know. So you want to sort of keep things as short and concise and compressed as possible. So the route that I've found that has the best success is in the actual body of the email, you keep it very, very brief. Brief introduction. My name is Will. I'm producing a film this summer that is shooting on these dates. I'm interested in your client, Rob Lowe, David Hasselhoff, whoever, for a lead role in this project. Please find the official offer letter attached below. Sincerely yours, Will. Phone number, contact information. That's all you really need in the email body. And then attached to the email, you'll want to have written out your actual letter of offer and send it as a PDF document. Because if they open up their email and they see this huge amount of text, they're either going to ignore it completely or they're just going to say, I don't have time for this right now, which then they risk forgetting about it. So less is definitely more. And I can't stress this enough. Do not send the script at this point. Believe it or not, sending a script unsolicited is extremely insulting to a lot of people in the business. No one really wants to read your script. I know that sounds harsh, that sounds bad, but people in this industry are reading hundreds and hundreds of scripts a year. It's exhausting. They spend their weekends going through 20 scripts because they have to vet them for their clients. Their assistants are reading, they're passing them up. Everybody, it's sort of a Christmas tree effect. Everybody is reading scripts and then either passing or sending them up. And granted, right now you are towards the top because you're sending it directly to an agent about their client, but they still don't want to see your script right away unless they know this is worth their time. Okay, so we've got the email and we've got our offer letter attached. So what is actually going to be in the offer letter? What should you include? Now, again, you're going to want to present yourself as professionally as possible. So I'm going to share with you the offer letter that I crafted when I put Lee Majors into my first project. Now, this isn't the very first offer letter. This was amended after I spoke with his agent. So what happened was I sent my initial offer. The agent called me directly and said, hey, this project sounds interesting. We need to talk a little bit about this offer though, because there's some things that I don't like about this wording, some things that need to be added that you've sort of left out. So I then went in, recrafted the letter and resent it so that it was official. But so the letter I'm going to share with you now is the official letter after the agent's input. So it's about as good as it can get as far as finding out what an agent actually wants to see and needs to know in these letters. Essentially, the big things you need to cover are the what, and that means what the film is about and what is the role. You need to cover the when are you shooting, where is this film taking place, where are you flying their client to, and for how long, how many days are they going to be on set? And then obviously, what you're actually going to provide, what you're going to pay. So we're going to run through my offer letter real quick, just to sort of give you an example of what we're talking about. I put on a letterhead, my name, my business holding for the film project, and my basic contact information, going to David Shapiro of David Shapiro and Associates, email regarding Lee Majors. So that when this is filed, they'll always know what this is in reference to. So I start off first paragraph, just a quick introduction of myself and what this is all about. So my name is Will. I'm the director of this film. I'd like to offer your client, Lee Majors, the lead role in a film, which is currently titled, whatever it was at the time, to be in this movie. First opening, just the basic information that they need to know. Next paragraph, a little bit of a description about the film itself and the role. So your one sentence log line of the movie and what the role that you're offering the client is very quickly described as. The next paragraph is how long you're going to need the client. What is the shooting requirements for them to be involved with the film? So in the case of this movie, the role consists of 16 pages within a 90-page script. We would like to have Lee for a total of 6 days. The total production is 25 days. We only need Lee for 6. But just so you know, we're happy to arrange our shooting schedule around Lee's availability during this time. So you're providing information of how much this actor is going to appear in the film, how long the film itself is going to be, when it's filming, and when you need the actor to be there. And leave it open to them to decide so that they don't have a reason to say no. If the dates are conflicting, you don't have to have a bounce back email. So say something like, we're shooting within this month and we're happy to accommodate our schedule based on your client's availability. So the next paragraph is sort of, what the expectations you have for the film are. You sort of want to state, this is the project, it's fully funded, it's going to be completed by this date. Our plans afterwards are to distribute with this distribution company or to take it on the festival run. And because this is an independent project, we're going to try and accrue sales after its, festival run and release. Now you want to be very careful here. We mentioned this before in another video. Don't make any promises about things you have no control over. Don't say that you're going to submit and get into Sundance with this movie, or that, you plan to sell it for $1 million, or you're going to Telluride or anything. Just, yes, if your goal for this movie is to hit this festival circuit and procure sales that way, by all means, let that known. If you have a sales agent already attached, make that known. Just sort of give them an idea of what is going to happen to this movie once you're done filming, what the timeline is. But again, avoid promises because you have no control over that, and it will make you sound like an amateur and like you don't know what you're doing. And then finally, you're going to put in sort of a block section everything that you are prepared to offer the client for their role in this project. And you may want to do some research with the SAG guidelines, because again, this is going to be a SAG project. You're going to have to live up to certain standards. So things you may include on this are, their day rate, first class ticket airfare, where they're going to stay, how much their per diem is going to be. Are they going to get a private trailer? Are they going to have transportation to and from set? Are they going to have their own dedicated wardrobe assistant so that they're not getting in the wardrobe line with all the other actors? Just sort of whatever you have to offer. And the last thing you want to be sure you add in this is also, this film, since it falls under this SAG classifications, will follow all the rules and guidelines of a SAG production at this level. So they know their client's protected, this is going to be a safe set, and they have nothing to worry about. And then you want to close the letter, keep it one page, keep it concise, compact. Again, don't name drop, don't make promises, don't include wordage that you just don't need to right now. You want to go into this assuming that the agent thinks you are a filmmaker that knows exactly what they're doing. Do not give them reason to think otherwise. So just provide, just the facts, the information they need, the bullet points that they need to know about the movie, about the role, when it's filming, how long you need the client, what you're going to offer, when you need to know by. And that's all you want to put in your offer letter. So you get that typed out, save it as a PDF, and that's what you're attaching to your email that, again, is just in a very basic short form, and that's what you're sending to the agent. Now here's another big one. Just like we're not giving them the script, we're also not divulging the budget. Now, we're not trying to be sneaky here, but we're just not in a place to tell them this at this point. Most bigger actors, they have a quote, sort of a get out of bed rate is what I like to call it, which means this is the minimum they're willing to work for. And it's not going to reflect what the SAG rates are, because those are much, much lower. These are going to reflect what this person has set as their get out of bed rate. So you're going to be sort of negotiating around this number. And your budget is higher than this person's expecting, they're immediately going to jump up to you. If you're too low, they're going to say, this thing's underfunded, we're not going to get into this right now. So never put your budget, because it's a loss no matter what. Instead, you want to state your budget range, and that is the official budget range as dictated by the SAG-AFTRA rules. So you're going to tell the agent what SAG level your film falls into, so that they know this and that they're not going to be negotiating too hard on their client's quote with you. So the different tiers are basic agreement, that's all films above $2.5 million. Next is going to be the low budget agreement. That's all films with a budget between $700,000 and $2.5 million. Next is going to be the modified low budget agreement. That's all films with a budget between $250,000 and $700,000. And then you've got your ultra low budget, which is all films under $250,000. Now below that, you've got your student projects that are less than 30 minutes and your short film projects that are under 40 minutes. So most likely, a lot of people watching this are probably going to be in the ultra low budget range, which means you've got a little bit of wiggle room. So you can divulge that to the agent without telling them what your budget is specifically, and they'll know exactly what they have to work with. Now, if you've done everything correct, which I hope you have, and the agent likes the offer, they're happy with what they're seeing, and they say, okay, this is something I can present to my client, go ahead and send the script. Again, you want to act like a professional here. Sometimes independent filmmakers have this sort of idea that everyone's out to steal their stuff, steal their scripts. I promise you this is never going to happen. This is never going to happen. And honestly, even if it did, there's nothing you can do about it. So do not go into this saying like, oh, before I can send you the script, I need you to sign an NDA or something like that, because it's just going to make you look like you don't know what you're doing. If you're a legitimate filmmaker who's making an offer at this point, they're going to assume this script has been in the works for a while, it's completed, it's been on other people's desks, it's been registered, so that you have already protected yourself. So there's no need for an NDA for any reason at this point. So do not say anything silly like, I need your assurance that this doesn't get shared. I need your assurance. I need an NDA or any of that stuff. Just do not say that, because it will ruin your chances of appearing professional in this situation. So once they ask for the script, send them your most up-to-date, clean copy as a PDF, upload it, send it to them with, hey, such and such, as requested, here's the script for your client, Rob Lowe. Keep it short, keep it concise, blast it off. They're going to read the script. If they approve of it, they're going to send it to the client along with the offer. They're going to let them read it and make a decision. And this process can generally go pretty quick. Like I said, they're reading scripts pretty fast. Now understand, just because we found a way to get our stuff to the agent, and if it's gotten past the agent and it's gone to the client, this isn't an assurance that they're going to say yes for various reasons. Maybe they feel like they've played this role too many times. Maybe it doesn't fit in their schedule. There's something that they hadn't told their agent about right away. Maybe to them, they just feel like it's not worth the trip. 3 days in Boise, Idaho, when I have to fly out of, my vacation home, wherever it is they're currently staying, it just might not feel right for them. So there's going to be a lot of little things that may come into play that your first, second, third, fourth, fifth choice may say a no to as a result of. Don't take it personally. Just keep going. Have a list of people that you want. If number one says no, number two is going to be a great pick for you as well, or 3, 4, or 5. And just anticipate this taking maybe a little bit of time, and be patient, but just know that whatever ends up happening is going to be the best thing for you and for your film. Now, this is also a good moment to quick talk about just, again, your presentation. Get rid of as many reasons for them to say no as possible, and be confident. Confidence is huge, Don't use wording like, oh, if he's not, I would really appreciate if he took a chance on this. Don't beg. Again, they want to work and you want to hire them. And just know that if you're confident in your project, it will reflect in the way you present it. And you want that confidence because you want them to know they're going to be in good hands with you and with your film. So now once you got Rob Lowe or whoever it is you're after to be in your movie, and you've got that big win in your pocket, take it and run with it. See what other deals you can get now because of this. Maybe now that location that said no to you the first time will now say yes. Maybe the vendor or the person that you were trying to get product placement for, once they hear this, they're going to turn around on a dime and suddenly want to support you. If you've got extra money and other parts that you want to cast bigger names, I always use this metaphor. No one wants to be the first person in the pool. Like when they see that water, they don't want to be the first one to jump in. But once they see someone else in the pool, all bets are off. They're going to jump in too. So if you want to do other casting and try and fill some of your other roles with some other bigger name talents, by all means, it's not good to name drop, but if you do have, Rob Lowe attached to your movie and you're making offers for other parts, you can say, hey, in your introductory, my name's Will. I'm producing this film starring Rob Lowe. I would like your client to also be involved in this project. Please see my attached offer. Again, they're going to see, oh, this is a legit movie. People are going to see this. It's going to go somewhere because these other people are attached to it. So use this in your favor to help drive you towards getting other aspects of your pre-production done, because it is going to be a big ticket for you. So if this isn't for you, if you don't think you can afford it, that's totally fine. I get it. This is independent filmmaking. We're making do with what we can. But if you think that having name talent attached to your project is going to help it out, and the only thing that's been holding you back is that you just don't know how to approach it, use what we've talked about here and understand that there is a system in place for you to do exactly that. And it's not as scary as you think it is. And it's very navigable. And once you take the steps and you start and you build your confidence and you learn how to write these offer letters, this is a good skill to have. Understanding how you approach other people in the business, in the real business, and how to work with them and what they're going to be expecting and how you present yourself and your film at a professional level. So for nothing else, see this as an opportunity for you to grow and learn and just sort of build a little bit of self-confidence in you and confidence in your team, and let that play out and let that really benefit your film the way that it will. Actors want to work. Agents want their clients to work. Everybody wants to be a part of this. and they're really maybe just waiting for you to ask. So go for it. That's all you got to do, is just go into it with confidence, believing in yourself and your project, and knowing that, hey, I've got something special, something that this person's going to want to be involved in, and get that offer out there. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I'll get to those as they come in. As usual, I've added a few more resources for you below in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, and we'll see you next time.